Hello and good afternoon, doctor. My name is Rami and today I'll be presenting to our group project proposal, which is a food allergy system. So we chose food allergy system and we named our program. It's gonna be foodie. Basically, the idea behind the program is that it's made for people with allergies. Allergies like, for example, peanuts. Some people are allergic to fishes. Some people are allergic to beans and whatever. So the idea behind the project, our proposal, which is foodie, is designed for people with food sensitivities, and it helps them live safer by comparing their allergens to food information in various preset database. So basically, allowing them to avoid consuming any food that contain allergic uh, ingredients, basically. So the purpose and objective behind the program is to help users avoid the allergens, which obviously triggers their allergies, and also it makes people safer because allergies can lead to death, and it has to provide fast and easy to use tool and give a specific and concise information about the allergies based on each unique case. So the system is going to help the user by identifying that if the food they're gonna eat or they're looking for could properly have a chance of having any allergic ingredients, and then immediately notifies them. I will explain to you about some of the concepts that we're gonna make use of in our program. So first of all, we are gonna, of course, since we are gonna write the program in OOP, object-oriented programming, we are also going to make use of array of objects. So one of the examples of using of for array of objects, we are going to create a class. We will name it food items. This class will basically contains information about the food, like the name, which is a string, and the ingredient, which is an array of strings. It could contains a lot of different types of ingredients, possibly an ingredient with an allergy. Someone has an allergy to. So in the main program or the main function, we are going to create an array of food items objects to represent a sample list of food items with their ingredients. So each and every food item or food object could have different types of information like name and different ingredients. Therefore, secondly, we're going to make use of encapsulation. With the same example, which is a food item class, food items will have members variables like the name and the ingredients. Those will be in a private state, so they cannot be accessed directly by mistake by any other class that could possibly be in the program. It needs to be accessed using getters and setters, which is gonna return the value of the private variable, for example, get name, and setters are going to update the value while performing any necessary validation. So this is my part. Now we move on to Ammar.
My name is Ammar, and I'll be explaining the system user guide, and I'll also be explaining how we'll integrate the association part, inheritance, and polymorphism. For the system user guide, the login we'll have at first, when the user enters, they'll have the login page. At the login page, the user will be prompted to enter their name, email, age range. They're also prompted to enter their allergens by choosing the applicable allergen from the drop-down list. Here, at the background level, at the programming level, to explain the association, we will be using a class named user profile. Here, the user profile will have a one-to-many relationship with the food items that Rami explained earlier. And the user profile will have as its members name, email, and age. It will also have allergens. In the home screen, after logging in, the user will be directed to the home screen where they have three main options. Here they have the search bar, where they can search for specific food items in the section by typing in the name of the item. Then the system will highlight the allergens and the ingredients present. And then they have the list of items, which if they're unable to find the item by searching, they can also search for it manually by going through the list. And then at the end, also allergy information that they entered earlier, it will be displayed for easy reference instead of going to the profile. Here also we have the settings. In the settings, the user can edit their personal information by entering their new values in the corresponding input field. After they enter the profile, they can see their personal information in front of them and input field. If they want to change, they can re-enter their specific data type in there and then just press enter. For the allergens, they can just add or remove allergens by pressing on the corresponding allergen. And so now for the composition part, it's a bit like counterproductive for this one, since the user profile cannot be deleted when the allergen gets when a food item gets deleted. So we were thinking of doing a separate thing, like for example, in food items, instead of having food items have ingredients inside it, ingredients be outside, and then a composition part between the food items and the ingredients. That's for the composition. Also for the inheritance, we will have a food class, which will be in association, not in association, actually in composition with the, not with in composition, oh, in association, yeah, the inherited values, which are like dairy products or nut products, or for example, like meat and stuff like that. These types of, they will be inherited from the food. They'll inherit the functions, the method from the above one, and then they'll have polymorphism. For example, when we say compare to allergen, if that's a method, instead of comparing like in dairy milk, in dairy products, instead of comparing it to all the things, we can make it specific. For dairy products, just compare to these ones, for like, for example, lactose. And for the others, for each specific one, they'll have their own. For example, in the peanuts, for example, like peanuts in maybe dairy, not dairy, maybe baked products or chocolates or stuff like that. Maybe, for example, if they have Snickers, instead of like comparing it to everything, just the things that would be present in a chocolate bar that would give someone an allergy. And I also told you about the inheritance, where it will have the inheritance, food, and then inherited under it, like dairy products and everything else. And then for the composition, as I explained, there will be a composition between food items and ingredients, an aggregation between the user profile and an aggregation between the user profile and also between the food items. Also an aggregation between each specific one, for example, the dairy products, it will have an aggregation to specific food items. And that's my part. After this, Mohammad will explain reporting and exception handling. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Mohammad Ali from the group Foodie, and I'm going to be explaining the reporting and output of our program. The reporting or output for our program is divided into three types. First one is output based on selected allergens. Second one is output based on searched food. And third one is settings output. The output based on selected allergens is the response that the program will give to the user after they choose a certain allergen. For example, if a user is allergic to peanuts, the program will warn them from eating chocolates like Snickers, which contains peanuts inside. It will also suggest an alternative to this type of chocolate. There is also the output based on searched food. The users can search for a certain type of food. Then, using the registered allergen data, the program will compare the ingredients of that food and match it to see if an allergen is present. Going back to the peanuts example, let's imagine someone wants to try the Malaysian nasi lemak. One of the key ingredients in nasi lemak is the peanuts. If the user searches for nasi lemak, the program will show a warning message that says, "This food is not safe for consumption. The following allergen is contained," and it will write peanuts. On the other hand, if the user searches for some other food that does not contain peanuts, the program will display a message that says, "This food is safe for consumption. Enjoy your meal." And finally, the settings output. This type of output is associated with the account and registration of allergens in the app, because it will display the account information when the user needs them. And also, it will show the allergens that are registered. It will also change if the user chose to edit his account information and if they wanted to add or remove something from the allergen tab. Next, I'm going to explain how are we going to use the exception handling concept in our program. We can implement exception handling to manage potential errors during data input or processing. Some instances where we can use them is if attempting to access an ingredient at an out-of-bounds index in the ingredients array, we can use an out-of-range exception from the C++ standard library. Or of attempting to choose an allergen not stated in the allergen class, we can use the same exception as earlier.